Sean Haney here with RealAgriculture.com. We're at Crop Production Show in Saskatoon, and right now I'm joined by
Glenn Forrester with BASF. I'm the technical market specialist with for fungicides.
Glenn. It is great to be here with you. Enjoying the show?
Very much so.
Good.
Lots of people here.
Yeah, they're very crowded, especially the BASF booth. You guys, those T-shirts are a real hit.
They are a real hit, drawing the crowd.
Whoever came up with that idea is pretty smart. Okay, so fungicides. Okay, so we're moving into a time where obviously been a lot of talk in the market about fungicides the past 5 years. We've seen use of them increase significantly. Will that still be the case in a down commodity market?
I think, fungicide use should be a constant or penciled in at the beginning of the season when you're taking a look at your crop production practices. In a down year or any type of year, you're seeing a positive return on investment from a fungicide use. So you take a look at the last couple of years with weather conditions, high moisture, high disease pressure, shortened rotations in a lot of the acres, and we're seeing a strong increase in the amount of disease pressure and also a subsequent increase in the competitive advantage of a fungicide on your crop.
Now I know you're going to tell me that all fungicides aren't created equal, but what are some of the things you got to think about when you do select the right fungicide for your issue?
Well, you really have to target the best fungicide for the crop, and yes, not every fungicide isn't created equal, and we do have a lot of good fungicides for each of the crops that we have. So whether you're looking at cereals with a twin line and a carumba, you're targeting your application at the timing for what the disease is there. So carumba would be a fusarium head blight, twin line would be a flag leaf. The other crops like a canola, if you're targeting a blackleg application, you should be targeting that early application with a Preaxor, which is a multimodal of action product for resistance management practices, as well as that yield increase, and then protecting it with a sclerotinia product like a Lance at that flowering timing. So you really got to look at what the disease is and what is your production goals.
So is fungicide is we talk about preventive measures versus reactive measures, and fungicide really is that sort of preventive sort of measure. Does that make it difficult sometimes when you're evaluating it on the farm in terms of should I, shouldn't I? Because you're sort of planning to protect yourself from something that hasn't even happened yet.
Yeah, I think the best way to look at it is plan it in this winter and in the spring when you're making your plans for your farm, is budget in the fungicide application. Pencil it out on the acres that you have, the rotations you have, what your yield practices is, and then if conditions get dry throughout the year or if conditions are not conducive for the disease development, then you can take that application away. But if you pencil in your herbicide application for a fungicide in your canola for blackleg, and then you pencil it in at a sclerotinia, if it gets dry during that sclerotinia application, you can take that cost away from it and you still see the benefit. Whereas if you have an added cost mid-season, it makes it a harder check to do mid-season.
Yeah. So in terms of the valuation of did the fungicide pay for itself or not, and just like all fungicides aren't created equal, all years aren't created equal. I've heard some different people talk about that when you do make that evaluation, that it's not just some sort of visual, it's actually looking at bushels to bushels, and make sure you do things like check strips and things like that.
Oh, definitely. Whenever we do a lot of trials throughout Western Canada on a yearly basis, checking out our new chemistries like Preaxor versus an untreated check, and we test it across multiple locations and where we see the benefit. And we have a large range of increases from that herbicide application with Preaxor. We see the 3 to 4 bushels, and it ranges from 0 to 7 bushels, and really it kind of, you look at where the best results come from is the crops that have the highest yield potential, the growers that are putting in the nutrients, are putting in the money to begin with to get that high yielding potential, and that's where you see that benefit from that excellent disease control as well as the excellence benefits.
Well, Glenn, thanks a lot for joining us today. Enjoy the rest of the show. And you better get back there and keep on making T-shirts because they're a hot commodity.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Sean.